And welcome back to UKSG Blue 2025. We are here raising money for Crisis, a charity dedicated to provide the support needed to help people out of homelessness for good. I am your new host, Dino95HG. I will be here during this amazing run of Mario Kart DS by Abel. Throwing it over to you guys, and good luck with the run.
Thanks, Dino. My name's Abel. I've been playing this game for a sickening amount of time, nearly 20 years now. And we're going to be doing 32 tracks today. I've got in co-commentary Utter, who's been playing almost pretty much as long as I have as well. So, okay. We're going to be going into single player here, selecting VS mode. And our character Kart combo, which I may as well talk about now. Dry bones with the egg 1. Just configuring the settings here. 150cc speed class with the hard difficulty on. Tracks in order. All 32 tracks will be played from figure 8 circuit all the way till Yoshi circuit. So the timer will start once I press OK here. So are we ready to go?
I'm ready when you're ready.
Fantastic. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. So, figure 8 circuits is essentially the, I'd say the snaking sandbox. Now, snaking is a very infamous technique, or famous or infamous technique here for Mario Kart DS. You might have known about it. It involves chaining mini turbos from left to right in quick succession, and it gives you an insane amount of speed. And yeah, it just lets you propel forward. And as long as you don't drop these mini turbos, it's just incredibly powerful.
Yeah, you may have seen that at the start of the race he was able to drive off-road without losing speed for a few seconds. This is a technique known as PRB, which stands for Prolonged Rocket Boost. If you get perfect start boost or drive over a boost panel, you enter a state where you can drive off-road, which is intended, but if you manage to perform a mini turbo before this boost ends, you can extend or prolong it, which allows you to drive off-road for theoretically as long as you want. Unfortunately, this is Mario Kart, so the CPUs will be trying to stop us from mini turboing at any point, but a large part of this run is maximising our advantage with PRB to save as much time as reasonably possible.
Yeah, and another factor to take into account is the items. You have to be very reactive. You can see here I'm just going to tilt to the left there in order to angle myself in order to dodge that red shell. So that was figure 8 circuit. Second track is Yoshi Falls. Not an awful lot to say about it other than there's a giant egg right in the middle. You might be able to see it in a sec. But it's mostly, oh, there it is on the right side of the screen. Driving around this giant egg, just hugging the edge of the track continuously. And we're just going to be boosting our way to the finish line.
Yeah, there's a few short tracks in this game, and this is one of the tracks that can easily be done well under 50 seconds on a good day.
That was the worst spot to throw that for, but you can more or less evade it.
Got away with it.
That's another thing with the items. Like, you have to be very selective with what you get rid of. So, for example, fake item boxes, you want to ideally get them out the way. Cycle your items and get more bananas, and that was a blue shell dodge there. Do you want to maybe talk us through a blue shell dodge?
Oh yes, we might see a few of those today. Blue shells are those that target first place unless you're too good. If you charge a mini turbo and then release it and hop to the side just before it shoots down, we can effectively just sidestep the blast, rendering it useless. It can obviously interfere with PRB and general snaking, but it looks pretty stylish, so hopefully we'll see plenty of those today.
Yeah, and just touching on the PRB restart technique that you were mentioning before, we can do that on this track by driving or drifting on the boost panels just to cut the water, especially when it's high tide. And that's another thing with this track. It's very cycle-based. First cycle-based track. So you want to beat the tides on the second section here. For now, it's pretty good. More or less can beat the tides. But on lap 3, it's going to be high. We might want to try do some PRB, and we've got a blue dodge here.
Yeah, the high tide is basically like driving off-road, but it's like heavy off-road. So lighter off-road, the cart we're using, Egg 1, can still drift and perform mini turbos, but heavier off-road like high tide water, we can't drift really at all. So if we get caught in the middle of that, that's pretty bad.
I'm going to try this here. Okay. Bit difficult to keep the PRB there since you get a bit of air time in between transitioning from one section of the water to another. But that's okay. Relatively comfortable sub 130 time, which is okay given all the items and chaos that goes on.
Yeah, it's pretty clean.
And next track is Luigi's Mansion, based off of the popular GameCube launch title. Very famous piece of trivia here. You might not know it. You can crash the game here at the stairs if you just press AB. For whatever reason, the game thinks that there is a missing audio file. I believe that's what it was.
I think it's something like that.
And
so
it freaks out.
Yeah, so feel free to try that. I think it's earlier revisions of the game. You just go in the stairs and you hold A and B, and the game just can't handle it and just crashes.
That's another thing I want to mention about the red shells. That was one homing onto me there, but I believe it crashed somewhere. Well, I'm not getting these smooth landings, unfortunately. But basically, you can manipulate the trajectory of the incoming red shells if you just sway your cart to like a wall or to like in front of the tree here, for example, and then it will cause it to break. So that's another way of dodging other than using bananas or triple greens or green shells.
This is one track where generally for 150cc play, PRB really isn't practical. However, on 100cc, which is what Wi-Fi is played on, it is actually reasonably feasible to hold PRB over the ramps and PRB the entire course, cutting over the grass here and cutting through the mud later in the track. You can save a substantial amount of time, but for 150cc it just isn't practical because going over the ramps while maintaining PRB is almost impossible.
That's true. So yeah, 136 is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Just in before the blue shell. So that's the Mushroom Cup. Now we're heading into the Flower Cup. First track, Desert Hills. This is a track which came back in Mario Kart Wii, I believe, and recently in Mario Kart World, actually. Okay, that was some good PRB there at the beginning. So we just cut behind the pyramid, so that saves us a considerable amount of time. And in 100cc, actually, you can keep your rocket boost and cut one of these hills here.
Yeah, this is one track where in some situations you can almost get away with like sandbagging for a mushroom because the hills, if you shroom over the hills, you can save like 2 seconds. So that can actually be quite beneficial for runs. But if you get good PRB like Abel did at the start, then there's no point.
Okay, the reason I couldn't dodge there was because my cart sticks... Oh, my cart stuck to the ground there, and it didn't allow me to get a lot of off-road. So there's differences in... how do I word this? There's differences in curvature of the ground, so sometimes you won't be able to get a lot of off-road even if you hop. Like here, for example. Or just heading into lap 3, or just finishing lap 3 rather. And we're heading into Delfino Square, another track which got brought back in Mario Kart Wii. And one which also underwent a very, very, very famous shortcut revolution last year, along with Waluigi Pinball and Luigi's Mansion. Yeah, it's very powerful to get mushrooms here, especially in multiplayer races. So bagging is, yeah, very, very powerful here. Get mushrooms here for this mud section, which I'm going to do. You can do it shroomless, like this, if you... Oh, actually, I messed it up. But you can basically mini turbo across. And it saves you a considerable amount of time. I'm trying to angle myself so that red shell can be avoided, but sadly I couldn't.
Yeah, this is one of the most brutal games for red shells. They're the hardest to avoid, I would say, in this game.
Yeah, the AI, I don't know what they were doing in 2005, but they really constructed an insane AI. So what I'm going to do now is attempt the dock shortcut, which is another...
Oh,
I got too much bounce there, but it's okay. We got a good respawn. Sometimes you get the bad respawn, which leaves you further behind, but it's okay.
yeah, that's the thing with this track is there's multiple different ways to go through it. So it's quite an interesting one to time trial. Like the mushroom lap is very different to your non-mushroom laps. So you're cutting through the mud with your mushroom, and then you're jumping over the dock on your non-shroom laps.
Okay,
and then you can take the safer route this way as well. There we go.
So that's how it should look like. And on a fast pace, this bridge will be completely flat. However, I fell down attempting the dock cut, which is a shame, but anyhow, finished the race, and now we're moving on to Waluigi Pinball. A lot of history for you on this track.
Ah, yes. Definitely my favourite track. Longest track in the game if you ignore shortcuts as well.
Yeah, the world record dropped dramatically in time trial from a 155.5 to a 131.8. And this is owing to a super bounce tech which was discovered last year. Basically, you can get a ridiculous amount of airtime if you shroom precisely here on the left and hug the red railing and jump over the invisible wall. And it saves approximately 7 to 8 seconds every lap. It lets you basically jump down to this section here. So look up the world record by a player called MK Dasher. Shout out. We might have a message or two coming.
Yeah, I just want to take a moment to thank our friends over at BSG and NSG for their continued support of us here at UKSG. BSG Plus 2026 is coming up from January 17th until January 24th from Nieuwegein in the Netherlands, and we would like to announce as well that submissions for that are now open. So if you want to get your run in to go to the Netherlands and take part in BSG Plus 2026, get your submissions in. NSG Spring 2026 will be coming live from Udru near Oslo. That's between the April 24th to April the 26th. Both are absolutely amazing events, and if you'd like to learn more about these and any other speedrunning organizations, be sure to check out oengus.io for all the latest and upcoming speedrunning marathons. Again though, thank you to both BSG and NSG for their continued support. Be sure to check them out, but for now, let's go back to UKSG.
Thank you. Is this going to be a dodge? Yes,
oh, that's
it
a
is.
good dodge.
Yeah, I mentioned you had some history on this track. You were the world record holder a couple of years back.
Yeah, I was had a couple of world records here or there on this track. Got the first one 56, but that's a while ago. Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Right. So now Shroom Ridge. This is another track which got brought back in the, believe it was the DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Very cool, very cycle based. As long as you know which pace you're on, you'll be able to determine where the carts are. Sorry, the vehicles. And this is
That was a very good effort there on
very
the
unfortunate
PRB.
Yeah.
This is one of the more difficult tracks to do any PRB on at all, and managed to get halfway across that grass section. Due to how tight the corners are here, very difficult to maintain PRB at all. If you lose boost time for even a single frame, PRB is lost, so there's no leeway whatsoever.
Yeah, I would have gone between that bus and the wall there to save a bit of time. But the blooper ink is too powerful. Super underrated item, I think, in this game.
It makes your kart slidier as well, so you lose traction, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can somewhat ignore, well, not completely ignore, but somewhat ignore the cycles, because we can often drive between the vehicles and the wall, especially in Egg 1, which is a very small kart. So if we've got a bad cycle, we can just ignore it and drive anyway.
Yeah. And if you're clearing any off-road, Drybones is the lightest character. This is the reason why we pick him in this game at high level, as well as with the Egg 1. It's the best all-round combo. Normally, well, historically in Mario Kart, the heavyweights normally have reigned supreme. If you look back to Super Mario Kart, the very first game, Bowser and DK Jr. have been the best ones, and that, oh my god, okay. That was awkward. But yeah, as I was saying, the heavier characters in the past have always been the better ones, but in this game, the lightweights are reigning supreme. So this is now the Star Cup DK Pass, yet another track which got brought back in the new Mario Kart world. And this track has a very special item box, which I will show you now, just going up this hill. I'll burn this item real quick. We collect this item box here, we can always either have triple mushrooms or a star, and this is important because it allows us to shield from lightnings. So now what I'm going to do is just keep an eye on the bottom screen for the rest of the run. Make sure I don't actually hit any of the snowmen here. It will cause me to lose my item. But yeah, as soon as I see a lightning from anybody or even a tricky to dodge blue shell, I will use my star item.
So if you're ever getting into this game and you're wanting a sly advantage against some of your opponents, just drive up this steep hill here and you'll get a very strong item every time.
So since I was in a very comfortable position there to dodge, I didn't see a need to use my star. The section's very, very tricky though. There's loads of changes of elevation changes, different curvature. So very, very difficult track.
Yeah, Star Cups when there's a noticeable increase in difficulty in the tracks.
I'm going to play it safe here. I'm not going to add that extra mini turbo there. I'm just going to keep an eye on the bottom screen for Wario, Waluigi, Yoshi to have a lightning so I can hopefully dodge it. So far, so good. Maybe Wario might... You know what? I'm going to use it here just in case he hits me
does
with
that.
bullets. Yeah. And I think we're good. We're past the last item set, so that's just above a 150, which is okay.
That's good.
Given the chaos.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Now, ticks our clock. Based off of the Super Mario 64 stage. Very cycle-based track again.
Arguably the most cycle-based, for time trials especially. The clock hands, the length of the clock hands is one that sweeps across both boost panels, so that determines which side of the clock face you go over. These cogs have a faster and slower route, which changes depending on the time. There's a global timer, so it's not lap-based as such. And there's cogs at the end here. There's one going, one going the correct way, and then one going backwards. So in the first lap, we go over the left one, but laps 2 and 3, we go over the right-hand side one to get the advantage.
Yeah. Hopefully my cycle is still okay. We'll see. Yep, so now take the right path here and snake as usual. Not sure where the... Yeah, it's clear. Yeah, it's all okay. So now we take the right cogwheel here, mini turbo off of it, and get a short burst of speed, and we'll be doing that at the end of lap 3 as well.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be like on the left again, lap 3 with this.
Yeah,
space.
you'd have to be pretty slow. Again, the same.
Yeah, I believe like Nintendo designed these tracks, so it would be lap 1 would be one way, lap 2 would be another way, and lap 3 would be the same as lap 1, but in most cases we're too quick for the game, so we just get the same lap 2 and 3 instead.
Yeah, essentially. So you saw some of the CPUs there at the end. This is another thing you have to watch out for in this speed run. Catching the tail end is very, very stressful, given that they'll be collecting some very hectic items like mushrooms, like golden mushrooms and bullet bill and so on. Wow, that is extremely unlucky. I didn't expect to get hit by the fire there, but basically it causes a lot of trouble. So you have to navigate around them.
So you attempt the shortcut here, you reckon?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it now. Hopefully, it should be okay.
Oh, that was clean. So a few years ago, they discovered there was a very small ramp before that wall, and if you manage to set up just right and perform a mini turbo and then jump, you can just clear over that wall. For time trial purposes, that's under the shortcut category.
Yeah, so now I'm going to try it again. Thankfully that fake item box isn't in the way. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Nice, so now we can get a mini turbo in, even if we get that slight clip when jumping across.
You're going to get 3 for 3?
You bet. I'll do my best. But yeah, so far, pretty decent with the RNG from the CPUs. Not a single blue or a lightning so far, even though I might just jinx that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh.
2 out of 3 is good enough. I'm fine
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
very good. The time loss isn't massive, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's alright. I think that was a 135, 136, so pretty decent.
Especially after getting hit by fire.
Yep. Now, final track of the Star Cup. This is Airship Fortress. Again, a lot of DS tracks got brought back in the new game, which is very good. Yeah, got brought back in Mario Kart World. You have to be aware of those molds, or actually they're called rocky wrenches. Puddings will kill me for not getting that one right. Shout out Big Puddings in the Mario Kart DS community. Does amazing work. She's very, very good. Is probably watching in the stream chat right now, so hello.
Oh yeah, this is one of the other tracks that has a cannon, and unlike later Mario Kart games, cannons are like almost like a great sort of safety zone.
Yeah.
Like you can't get hit by lightning, you can't get hit by a red shell or a blue shell. So sometimes it can be very handy if lightning's on its way and you get in a cannon just in time.
Yeah, it's always great. Oh, had to apply some handling there. Who put that there?
Good thing you had egg one.
Yeah. Some lore in this community, we typically like to call it Australian Fortress, given the multiple world record holders hailing from Australia. So, thought I'd put that out there. And again, just going between that railing there and the rocky wrench.
Egg one's huge advantage, not
Yeah.
just its Kart stats and its abilities, but also just its very small frame. You can just nimbly go inside, like between the wall and obstacles or items with very little effort. That's a great blue shell dodge again.
Very, very sneaky. You might think that you've completely evaded it there, but it does come at you from the right, usually. It emerges from beneath the tower. So now, the Special Cup. You'll soon see why it's called the Special Cup. But this right here is probably one of my favorite tracks in the whole game. It's a brilliant strategy, and the first respawn shortcut that we will hopefully be seeing, if I can nail it right.
This is another track that's really good for PRB restart, effectively using boost panels to initiate PRB rather than the start boost, cutting across this mud, trivializing a lot of the track. Oh, that's really clean.
Beautiful. Yes.
Yep.
So this saves approximately over a second over having to go around. And that's a very, very early lightning as well. That's okay. So yeah, the shortcut is basically jumping over that wall there. You go into a dead zone. You trigger a checkpoint, and Lucky 2 places you back on the track near the finish line. That's a very unfortunate banana placement there. Sometimes the bananas will blend in with the track, especially here on Wario Stadium, and on Desert Hills as well. That's another one. And another one. Very unusual to get 2 lightnings in just over a minute, and a blue shell.
The definition of Mario Karted in a few seconds right here.
Yeah, this is this is being Mario Karted pre MK Wii in 2008. We're celebrating our 20th year. So Mario Kart DS, yes, it is that old. It is 20 years old this November, so we're planning a lot of events for the community and just celebrating the game we love. And unfortunately, I couldn't get that PRB there, but it's okay. Hopefully, we'll get the respawn shortcut again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately not. But at least I got to show off a very nice lap 1 and a blue shell dodge there.
Just to cap it off, a much better lap than lap 2.
Yeah. Oh, much better. Okay. Peach Gardens is coming up now. Very, very tricky track. I'm going to actually try and concentrate here to get it done as best as I can.
But yeah, this is another track that's got a lot of heavier off-road. These flower patches, if you lose boost time, you cannot mini turbo or even drift within them. So Abel will be trying his best where possible to make sure he minimises going in the flower patches and maintaining his boost time before going into them.
Yep. And mini turboing into the flower bed there, just boosting as much as I can. So I did hit the wall there, a bit late to that cycle, and the chain chomp was dangerously close, so I went around instead of just zigzagging my way through the middle.
But yeah, this is a good track to show where someone's really mastered the art of snaking in Mario Kart DS, because being able to cleanly mini turbo through the hedges without getting confused or without hitting a hedge is quite difficult.
Yep. Yep, indeed. Oh, accidental R button press there.
Oh.
I don't know, I blindly just made it through there somehow.
Muscle memory.
Yeah. Not the best ending to the lap, but we are getting through it luckily without any lightning hits or anything severe, so I'd say pretty decent Peach Gardens,
Yeah.
all things considered. Okay, now Bowser Castle's next, another one of my favorite tracks next to Wario Stadium. Hyper technical, lots of, hang on, let me just steer clear from these CPUs, they like to bump us around a lot. And
yeah, this is one track where if you've only really played it casually, you might be surprised at the routes we're taking, because it's quite sneaky, a wee shortcut on that turntable. You're expected to go straight ahead, but you actually just take a sharp right. There's a much shorter route through the castle. Also on that turning bridge, if you fall off the turning bridge, it's not out of bounds. There's a slower route that allows you to get back on track. So making sure we take the shorter route on the turntable, and also on the spinning bridge, staying on that is very important to make sure we don't lose time. Significant time.
yep. You also have to adjust to the spinning bridge here, as well as that room with the rotating floor. So again, very cycle based, so now it's sort of spinning more to the right.
Yeah,
that's okay, survive that.
So it basically oscillates between rotating one way and the other. So no two laps are the same on this track.
Funny that you mentioned that. The world record is so fast, the current world record, that the cycles are almost identical each time.
Yeah, funny how that goes.
Yeah. So that's world record holder Taiga from Japan, very young Japanese player. Check him out on mkworldrecords.com/mkds. Okay.
Yeah, just playing it safe there.
Playing it safe,
Better
exactly.
to stay on the bridge than to have the extra mini turbo.
Now we're going to be ending. Oh, Yoshi in the way.
Oh,
Sadly, my setup got screwed up there, but we're going to be finishing in the lava like so. You could have done it more to the right there, but I screwed up my setup.
a very important shortcut track coming up.
Yep. Rainbow Road. This has 2 shortcuts. First one should be here at the beginning, but I'm not going to attempt it just yet because the CPUs are going to be in the way and we're very, very chaotic. the second one, hoping that, yep, Mario should not be getting a red shell there. I'll be turning around here. Turboing. Ah, and sadly I hit the pipe. I'm not meant to be hitting the pipe there. I'm meant to be going across it. And that basically, Lucky 2 will be picking you up and placing you on the other side of the track. We'll be cutting a second. Let me just get into first place here. Again.
Yeah, there's been a long history in this track with shortcuts. We skip the loop-to-loop about a third of the way in the track, but it used to be done with a far more difficult technique where you had to land precisely on the side rail and then move over to the right to catch the end of the loop. But thankfully, a much more practical way was discovered. It's also faster.
Okay, I'm going to attempt it now. The mushroom to be safe. There we go.
There we go.
So that's the pipe shortcut discovered in 2007, so quite a while ago. And I'm going to be attempting the loop skip shortcut shortly. Would have attempted it lap 2, but there was just too much going on. I was in 5th place. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to set up now for it.
Oh.
Unfortunate. Unfortunate. But that's basically meant to skip the entire loop that you drive through.
Yeah, basically he lands on the right part of the loop that you just see there, so that skips a substantial portion of track. Well worth going for.
Yeah, saves a substantial amount of time. And there we go, got that with the mini turbo at the very least.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm happy with that.
So overall, a very good, well-recovered race with a difficult start.
Yeah. So those are the Nitro tracks. We'll be moving into the Retro tracks now. Starting off with SNES Mario Circuit 1. This is essentially the PRB sandbox for the game, where players come to hone their PRB skills, and it's also the first track in the game. I believe we might have a message coming through.
We do have a couple of donations. So we have £20 from Yoshi Chief saying, "Hey folks, your local member of Stars, Yoshi Chief here. While I have been fairly lucky, I still have to pay for my RNG sins. So here's £12, rounded up because why not? Good luck for the rest of the day, and we need more Majima. Much love all." And that goes towards the Majima Saga any % bonus run for the Yakuza run a bit later on today. So thank you for that, Yoshi.
Very good PRB.
And we have £30 from White Tiger 89 saying, "As promised, for all the deaths in Rita's Rewind, and a roundup because it's for a good cause." And again, going towards the Majima Saga any % bonus run. So thank you for those donations, and keep them coming.
Keep them coming indeed. So we had a perfect race there on SNES Mario Circuit 1. Full 3 laps of PRB, getting a comfortable 39-second time. So now we're on to Moo Moo Farm.
The worst track in the game.
It's not one of the best. Much more manageable on 100cc, which is the... unfortunate about that. You know, the molds in Mario Kart 64 are actually RNG. Even in time trial mode, which I feel bad for players of that game. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we usually in Mario Kart DS, if you have like say Grand Prix mode, then certain aspects of tracks will be randomized. But then for time trials, it's purely cycle based, so it's always the same no matter what. But for some reason in Mario Kart 64, even the moles in time trials are random, and yeah, a nightmare.
Try it again.
Sometimes you just have to sit back and let it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, there's times where it's just literally nothing you can do. You might get comboed like that. Okay, now we move on to the first Mario Kart Super Circuit track, Peach Circuit. Another flat track, just for PRBing on. Not a lot to say. Just snake on the off-road. Hope you don't drop your boost.
Yeah, quite a few of the retro tracks are really susceptible to PRB saving a significant amount of time. As we saw, Mario Circuit 1 did it perfectly all 3 laps, and so far going really well here in Peach Circuit as well. We also have the added bonus that if PRB is active, Blooper does nothing, because if you have a mushroom or you're driving over a boost panel, that clears the Blooper item. So incidentally, PRB does so as well.
Going retro here. This strategy was used in 2006. Oh my god, okay. We're still somehow surviving, and yeah, this looks like a full 3 laps of PRB again. So quite happy with that. 53-second time.
Ah, it's very clean PRB there.
And yes, that is my face on the emblem. You can have, in case people forgot, you can have a custom, I think it's, I can't remember what the pixel dimensions were, but you can draw a little pixel art that goes on the front of your kart, and it will be shown on online races. That's a nifty little feature that didn't make its way back into a future game.
Yeah, it's a shame it didn't. There's, I suppose, mission modes as well. A few things in Mario Kart DS that were never seen before or since. But this is one track as well where if we lose PRB, all is not lost, because there's a couple of boost panels per lap that we can take that can restart PRB.
Which I sadly did not do there.
No.
But yeah, very chaotic track. You have to watch out for the opposing traffic here. Thankfully we did get PRB. Hopefully we'll be getting a defensive item now. I'm just going to go wide here slightly to hopefully get a banana or a red a green shell. And surprisingly a very quiet race.
Yeah, not really too much happened. A very non-eventful Mario Kart race.
Normally I'd be getting red shelled from the front, a blue shell that doesn't go all the way around and just sort of just hits you right on. So, okay. Heading into the Banana Cup now, with another SNES track. This is Donut Plains 1. Again, you can abuse the off-road with as much of the rocket boost as you can. Sadly, the Egg 1 isn't as suited for this track because of its turns. Sadly, I lost it there, but 1 lap of PRB is okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually we would use the Dry Bomber either for PRB or for non-PRB categories. It has better off-road capabilities, but also has longer mini turbos and has stronger turning capabilities, but its top speed stat is the worst in the game, so we would lose far too much time across the rest of the run if we were to use that instead of Egg 1. Yeah,
that's Dry Bones single Shroomer kart. So remember, in this game you can mix and match characters with, well, like in most Mario Kart games nowadays, mix and match character and kart combos. Now, Frappe Snowland coming up. If any of you have seen high-level time trials here, no, we do not turn around and drive into the abyss to trigger a lap count. It doesn't work that way in this game, because we actually have working checkpoints. Yeah, this is Frappe Snowland, definitely one of my favorite tracks. Coming from Mario Kart 64. Drives really well. Just have to watch out for those snowmen.
Yeah, there's 1 or 2 tracks from Mario Kart 64 that are in here that in the original games you can break them completely. You're basically not driving the track, but there isn't really anything on that scale in Mario Kart DS. Even where shortcuts or PRBs used, you still have to drive normally the vast majority of any given track.
Yeah, so every lap we're abusing that jump at the beginning in order to cut a bit of time. Just jumping over the dead zone there. I'm just going to get rid of this fake item box there so it doesn't come in the way. Lap 2, and just dodge this blue shell here.
Another clean dodge.
Yeah. Unfortunate, the lightning.
But yeah, this is a track as well. Like if you're newer to the track, it can seem a bit daunting to snake through those snowmen, but there is actually a fairly consistent path you can take through that often trivializes it. So a player of Abel's experience can just snake through there like nothing.
Ah, try to get him there. Oh boy, Waluigi. Now, Bowser Castle 2, I would say this track is exceptional. However, the boost panels, which you'll see in a minute, I feel let it down significantly.
Oh yes, the zippers, they do things like that. They throw you upwards and they don't do it quickly, and they can mess with you run in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, and we obviously mentioned the zippers restarting your PRB. However, these ones are an exception. These do not do that.
There is a trick we can do. You can hop over the zippers without losing speed. However, this trick is not only frame perfect, but it relies on your pixel position as well. So you could actually have a frame perfect input on it and still get a high jump such as this. And that's purely because your positioning was unfortunate, basically. So even if your timing is spot on, you could just be unlucky and not get the zipper jump and get a high jump instead.
Okay, I had to cancel out my mini turbo there in order to get away from that fake item box. So I'm going to do something a little different here on lap 3. I'm going to be just hopping onto the ledge in the zipper section.
Oh yeah.
Like such. So this saves a little bit of time. We like to call it in the community Zaghetto jump. This is a former Mario Kart DS player and also a Super Smash Bros. Melee player that you might be aware of, maybe not. Anyway, shout outs to him. Old school player. And yeah, not a lot to say about this one.
Yeah, this is just one big waste of time, but it's not Moo Moo Farm, so give credit where credit's due.
This is in the beta version of Mario Kart DS. GCN Mario Circuit from Double Dash was originally going to be in Baby Park's place, but for whatever reason they just stuck this one in here. But yeah, it's literally just an oval. You drive around it 5 times.
In any other Mario Kart game, it's appeared at 7 times, so we got off lightly, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Thankfully, it's over. No major. Nothing happened. No blue shells, lightning, so that's good. And now we'll be starting the Leaf Cup with SNES Cooper Beach 2. Another flat track for PRBing on.
Yeah, all of the Super Nintendo tracks are very susceptible to being PRB'd. Maybe this is the one that's arguably the least, but even then, we're making significant use of it here.
Just also a case of not falling into those pits. Will cost us a lot of time, and obviously not hitting the cheaps, but they're not too difficult to dodge, so it's all okay.
Yeah, where we drive in the shallow water, it's actually slidier road, so it's not so easy to effectively go where we want. However, we're also going to do similar to Bowser Castle, just go straight forward and jump into the water.
Yeah, given that the finish line sort of extends into the water there, it triggers the completion. Now, Choco Mountain. This is I'd like to call this a like a marathon of a track. Very long. Very slightly claustrophobic, especially at the beginning there. CPUs can knock you about.
Yeah, Mario Kart 64, again, a lot of history with very powerful shortcuts that skip basically the entire track, but we don't have such powerful shortcuts here.
Just going to play that safe. In fact, I think, I'm not sure if that actually hit one of my bananas. No, it didn't. It actually hit the edge of the road there, thankfully. But yeah, here at the beginning in Mario Kart 64, you can trigger a lap count by sort of shrooming, using a mushroom on the left part of the finish line, of the starting line, and sort of, I'm not sure how to explain it properly. You sort of climb up that part of the track, and it triggers a lap count. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know the full specifics of it, but they must be able to trigger checkpoint or avoid having to trigger checkpoints.
Yeah, it's called a Weather Tenko, so if anybody watches Abney317's Mario Kart 64 speedruns, you'll be able to see that done quite regularly there. I think it's got set up now and everything, so it's more consistent. But anyway, here we're with Mario Kart DS here, and again, we have no such shortcuts. It's just purely driving.
Yeah, not even PRB can help us here. There's no off-road to speak of, so just have to have clean driving.
Also notable mention that you were the first person to go under 1:45 here.
Oh yes, so that was 10 years ago.
Really cool. That was a really, really cool time. And are we making it?
Yes.
Oh, just about.
No problem.
Just about. Now, what's next? Oh yes, GBA Luigi circuit. So I'm just going to toggle the bottom screen there. I'm going to let the chat and the audience decide whether that is a... Oh, actually, I'm not even sure if the... Oh yeah, it is displayed on the top left. I'm going to let the chat / the audience decide whether that is a wet floor sign as a track shape or a dog stretching. So you decide.
This is one track again where Dry Bomber for time trial play would actually be the preferred choice, both for PRB and non-PRB categories. Its superior turning capabilities and also its off-road abilities make it far easier to either just simply save time off-road or to maintain PRB for all 3 laps.
Yep. Guys, feel free to read out a message if you got any.
Absolutely. I just wanted to let you know that there's a very strong majority of chat saying it's a dog stretching, so that's what we're going to go with. But alongside that, we also have £25 from Puddings saying, "Hey, MKDS Nation, the Queen, the Voice, and the worst thing to ever happen to this game here. So happy to see 2 of the UK's finest MKDS players here under one roof to show off the greatest kart of all time. Best of luck on the retros." And that is going towards our other open incentive at the moment, which is a bid war for the Kingdom Hearts Birth run a bit later on. You can choose which character that Rebel Dragon will be running. You can choose between Aqua or Ventus, and Puddings has chosen Aqua for that. So get your donations in, and don't forget to use the incentives when you do.
Thank you, Puddings. Puddings is a really valuable member of our community. He does so much work behind the scenes. He's a really good player as well. So thanks for that donation, and yeah, keep them coming in.
Yeah, this track's a bit like Shroom Ridge in a way. We have got to deal with the traffic, but I feel like it's a lot more forgiving here for the most part.
Yeah, the roads are obviously more consistent. They're much wider.
Sometimes in Mario Kart games, there's a habit of intended shortcuts, so to speak, not being used by players because they end up being slower. But for years it was the same here. There's a off-road ramp that we can drive up that is generally slower, or so it was believed to be slower, until a player in 2014 decided to try it, and turns out it was faster all along. So the exception, not the norm, to a lot of Mario Kart games.
That was TB1, Thomas Bolton, was it?
Yeah, that would be right, I think.
I'd like to add he is probably the greatest ever Wi-Fi player, online player for this game to this day, and he doesn't even play it anymore. He can just show up and just destroy everybody. Now, this is the first track of the Lightning Cup. Choco Island 2, not very popular with many, and I've just missed my first mini turbo, so we won't be seeing any PRB here, unfortunately. But yeah, very, very complicated, very slippery, lots of bumps to deal with, so you can probably see already why it's not very... In fact, 2 red shells are...
Just for good measure.
Yeah. I was like, what, seriously? But yeah, it's a very unforgiving track, lots of bumps, you can see. can really affect your driving overall.
Yeah, it can be a bit daunting to play at lower levels because the bumps, it just looks like they're all over the place. How do you deal with them? But once you sort of have a better idea how to play the track, you can sort of automatically skirt round them, or in some cases even just hop over them with good timing.
Oh, okay. Got out of the woods there. But okay, so that's Choco Island 2, thankfully out of the way. Next track coming up is Banshee Boardwalk. If you follow my channel on Twitch, you know what to do. MKDS Bubba in the chat. But yeah, Bubba is our beloved fish mascot. Here he is. Yeah, definitely, compared to the original on N64, this is definitely not as ominous, not as creepy. I think it's much more. Its text, its lighting is much lighter, as in it's not as dark.
I feel like even though this isn't the longest track, it probably feels like the longest track because you can almost consistently empty at any given point in the track, and having to do this near constantly for effectively 1 minute and 50 seconds, depending on your pace.
There we go. Have a banana. Little trick little marathon trick that I do. But yeah, you might have seen before, transitioning into lap 2, there was a red shell homing onto me. If you can manipulate their trajectory by swaying from left to right and having the red shells break on the corners. I'm not sure if I've explained that before, but yeah. So far, we've got a pretty commanding lead.
Yeah. Another good track for demonstrating your snaking skills. It's very narrow, so
yeah,
not much room for error at all.
Yeah, and at high level, for such a narrow track, it's very impressive given that... There you go, have another one. And I'll go for a swim. But it's very impressive considering that the Rob BLS kart, which is Rob's one-troomer kart, is the one being used here at world record level, which is much bulkier, has a bigger hitbox compared to the Egg 1.
It's probably more than twice the size, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
But the BLS is the fastest, highest top speed kart in the game, and that can carry it quite well on a lot of tracks, but it loses too much time.
I think I heard that.
Yeah, it loses too much time where there's off-road, or also if you get hit by an item, BLS can't recover well.
Alright, I'm going to concentrate here. Wow,
oh.
that's too bad.
Concentration
but,
over.
Yeah, it's so what was meant to happen there is basically use PRB to cut across this path here on the left, and it allows you to skip a significant portion and can bring your overall time down to 103, 102.
Yeah, if you manage to maintain PRB for 3 laps, you can save possibly as much as 6 or 7 seconds.
Yeah, it's a brutal time save. Very unlucky not getting that at the beginning though. So we just have to take the regular path across. So yeah, very beloved track in this game. Coming from Mario Kart Super Circuit, it's a great little game as well. Can I dodge this? Yeah, I needed to angle myself like that in order for it to connect.
This is one rare place where if we were using Dry Bomber, we could in theory save a bit of time back even if we lose PRB, because that can do the corner cut without using a mushroom, but it's a fairly low percentage, so might not be good for speedruns anyway.
Yeah, because using Dry Bomber for the whole of the 32 tracks, you end up losing out based on just speed alone. So this is Yoshi Circuit. Final track, so we'll be calling time at the finish line on lap 3. But yeah, another double dash track. Very, very popular. However, they didn't bring back the Yoshi Copter, which is a big disappointment.
One interesting thing as well is with a few of the tracks, Mushroom Bridge, Luigi Circuit and Yoshi Circuit, in the double dash they actually have secret pathways you can go in certain parts. However, due to the DS being not able to draw, so like big tracks. The tracks were scaled down a bit. They weren't really able to practically fit these paths in, but usually they're not faster anyway, so it's not a big deal. But it's yeah, just unfortunate there's one less thing to do on these tracks compared to the originals.
Yep. Now, just transitioning into the final lap. Oh, very poorly, but again, we're going to be calling time on the finish line. RNG's been treating us so far so good. Oh yeah, thought I should mention, in case you're wondering why I'm looking at a monitor here, I'm not playing on an emulator or anything, I am playing on real hardware. As you can see. And yeah, we're just going to be calling time now. Time.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Right. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks very much for having us, UKSG. It's been a real privilege. That was Mario Kart DS 32 tracks. Thank you for co-commentating, Otter. Thanks for coming out. And yeah, if you want to know more about the game, join the Mario Kart DS Network Discord. Join the players page. We're a time trials community, mariokart64.com/MKDS. We're in our 20th anniversary, 20th year at the moment. So we're celebrating that. And yeah, shout out as well to Scott, your friend, for coming out, and for Saga 2009 in the audience. So thanks for coming out as well. And thanks everybody for watching, and keep on donating. And would you like to add something?
Well, hopefully in a future event, maybe I can get my skills back up to where they should be. I can maybe race alongside you one day, or race against you one day.
Yeah, that would be super cool. Yeah, and we've also got a TASing Discord as well, so if you're interested in TASing this game, or finding out more about that, then yeah, check it out. But yeah, you can find me on twitch.tv/abel, on YouTube, MKDSable, MKDSable as well on socials. I think that's it. Thanks very much for having us.
Well, thank you very much for an amazing run of Mario Kart DS, and can I just say, it was absolutely awesome to see chat having such a blast with that. The community's come out in force for you guys today, so thank you very much for that, guys. But yeah, we're going to move on. We've got a following run. We've got Dracodan coming up next with some Boktai 2. I think that has been heavily promoted throughout this marathon as an exciting run to look forward to. Hopefully we'll see some more Mario Kart soon as well, so I'll be glad to have you guys back in the future as well. But don't go anywhere, guys. We'll go to a short intermission, and we will be right back.